Listen to this. I think this is from Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting. On Tuesday, April 5th, Bernie Sanders won the Wisconsin Democratic primary by double digits. And his victory speech ran for half an hour on CNN, a rare media moment when he was able to repeat the issues that have resonated with many Democratic primary voters. After the Wisconsin loss, the Hillary Clinton campaign went into high gear, sending emails out announcing a new strategy of going negative. The next day, April 6th, CNN ran a piece by senior Washington correspondent Jeff Zeleny that began, quote, Hillary Clinton's campaign is taking new steps to try and disqualify Bernie Sanders in the eyes of Democratic voters, end quote. The story by Zeleny laid out Clinton's new so-called three-part strategy with regard to Sanders. You want to know what it is? Disqualify him, defeat him, and unify the party later. Political strategists know well that attacks can backfire, especially for candidates with high negatives such as Hillary Clinton. Accordingly, the Clinton campaign attacked Sanders through a common political maneuver. They used surrogates. Man. A Clinton campaign fundraising appeal after the Wisconsin primary offered a glimpse into the new approach. The campaign's deputy communications director, Christina Reynolds, argued that Sanders is unqualified, sending a full transcript of the New York Daily News editorial board interview of Sanders. Reynolds wrote, quote, we've said for a long time that this primary is about who's really going to be able to get things done. And from reading this interview, you get the impression Senator Sanders hasn't thought very much about that. In fact, even on his signature issue of breaking up the banks, he's unable to answer basic questions about how he'd go about doing it, and even seems uncertain whether a president does or doesn't already have the authority under existing law, end quote. Now, as Fair pointed out on April 7th, the banking issue was a red herring. When asked how he would break up the big banks, Sanders said he would leave that up to the banks, and economist Dean Baker wrote, quote, that's exactly the right answer, end quote. But by Wednesday, MSNBC's Morning Joe, this is on April 6th, had already picked up the Clinton campaign's talking points. Joe Scarborough repeatedly tried to get Clinton herself to weigh in on whether Sanders was unqualified to be president. Instead of answering yes or no, she reiterated the campaign's carefully massaged strategy. Quote, Hillary, I think he hadn't done his homework. And he'd been talking for more than a year about doing things that he obviously hadn't really studied or understood. And that does raise a lot of questions, end quote. Now, as Salon pointed out, that word questions raises questions. That's what Donald Trump did in 2012 regarding Barack Obama's birth certificate. Trump said at the time, quote, I don't consider myself a birther or not a birther, but there are some major questions here. Bullshit. And then the Washington Post on April 6th jumped in with a story headlined, quote, Clinton questions whether Sanders is qualified to be president, end quote. Though it parrots the Clinton campaign's talking points against Sanders, it attributed them to critics rather than to the Clinton campaign. So there are Democrats out there that are going to vote for Hillary Clinton. You're not Democrats. You're goddamn fools is what you are. You're not a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, vote for Bernie Sanders. If you're a screwball, right-wing, neo-fascist, you'll vote for Hillary Clinton.